Hello, dear friends. This is Moment of Harmony with Euripides Barsanulfo, the spirit that has been redefining our lives as a messenger from Christ on the earth. For those who don't know, amongst other things, Euripides Barsanulfo, in the spiritual realm, created a spiritual hospital named Esperança, Hope, to rescue spiritists who may not be discarnating well. Today, in one of his beautiful messages, and this message was written on April 4th, 1957, through Corina Novellino, this message brings a new insight for us in many instances. Remember when Jesus once said that we shall make new friends? We often forget about this, and we're so caught up in the business of life that we forget about the ultimate call, which is to make new friends. Why so? Law of society. One of the laws of God is named law of society. We're social beings. I know if you go to philosophy, the ancient philosophers, they've asked this question, whether or not we are social beings. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who inspired Pestalozzi, who then inspired Allan Kardec, they are of the line of thinkers that invested on the fact that we are social beings. We're prone to be with others. We are gregarious. Others, like the British Thomas Hobbes, believe that we are social beings just because we need it for survival, but not necessarily we have that inbuilt. Current science has already proved we're social beings. Neuroscience itself has lots of experiments proving to us time and again that we have molecules inside of us to create bonds of affection. We have a brain that is pretty much a social brain. All and everything in us is to boost our social features. We're born to mingle. We're born to be with one another. And if people are not, they're sick. And you're right. Our society is suffering from this disease. The disease of loneliness. Why? There are many reasons. We won't discuss it today, but Professor Euripides Barsanulfo is going to lead us into a new understanding. Are you ready? Yes? Let us be ready for our teacher. The teacher who comes directly from the schools of the gospel to lead the way, to remind us about the laws of life. Let us listen, friends, to the beautiful teachings that Euripides Barsanulfo is going to share with us right now. He says, "Very beloved brothers and sisters, may the sublime friend strengthen us on the redeeming road. The conquest of the new lights in the paths of life has provided the human being with a series of precious resources in the footsteps of physical health. The most varied elements are facilitating individual routes on the planet. So you, my brothers and sisters, have to your mercy a generous source of such blessed tools for the recovery of energies spent by diseases in general. Every sick person can find this manna that flows from the divine mercy. It is enough for this to keep alive the lamp of the faculties of feeling. The celestial friend gave us the example when practicing in the highest sense of the term the law of justice through the cultivation of love. Seeking the perfect lesson by example, the Master even left us the beauty of forgiveness for those who could not understand the superb sacrifice. And what was the mission of the divine lamb but the chain of potent bonds, of bountiful understanding and sublime love? The Master remains awaiting our goodwill in the service of fraternal solidarity. How to reach the luminous road of solidarity? In the cultivation of devotion, in the consecration of renunciation, in the exercise of goodness in all the hours of our day. Brothers and sisters, let us seek the beauties of the good in all and in every one, and little by little we shall find the sure and certain path of the indispensable renewal. Let us not forget the duties of fraternity among individuals, as the family of the Spirit is greatly enlarged. Remember that your neighbor is humanity. Doesn't the enlightening lesson of your moral obligations point out to that truth? It is necessary to expand the scope of our spiritual relationships every day through the ever-increasing interest in the welfare of all. Those who remain attached to their own interests, forgetting or being indifferent to the fate of our other homes, have not yet understood the true meaning of love. To the Spiritist, much will be required, much love in the multiple manifestations of charity, because the Spiritist received much from mercy through the understanding of the eternal clarity. Let us seek peace within ourselves in the practice of the law of justice within the Christian principle. Do not wish for others what you do not want for yourself. Do to others what you desire for yourself. May Jesus bless us. Professor Euripides Barsanulfo, on April 4th, 1957, through Corina Novellino. This message, besides many things, brings to us how high Euripides Barsanulfo places Jesus. I don't think we yet feel what he already felt at this time regarding Jesus. You know, Corina Novellino wrote a book named A Grande Espera, The Great Wait, maybe? It's not in English. In that book, Euripides Barsanulfo, through her, wrote a story about the Essenes at Jesus' time. Euripides Barsanulfo was an Essene when Jesus was living on the earth. Remember when people asked about Jesus, where was he during his adolescence? And many dispute whether or not he stopped by at the Essene camps. He did. Not throughout the whole time, but he did. Chico Xavier read the book and vouched for it. And amongst the characters in the book, we have Lisandro. We have Lisandro, Marco, and another name that I forgot now. 3 leading spiritist figures in the 20th century in Brazil: Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, Euripides Barsanulfo, and Carbar Schutel. 3 major leading spiritists who were reborn in Brazil, but were Essenes at the time of the Christ passage. But that's not the point. The point that I'm making here is they were acquainted with the greatness of Jesus' mission. They were already there, okay? Yes, Leon Denis, Teresa Castro is reminding us in the book After Death, mentions that Jesus studied with the Essenes. Yes, he didn't learn with the Essenes. He visited, he exchanged, because he's already the master. He was already the master. The Essenes were in the book On the Way to the Light. We have a highlight about the Essenes. That the Essenes, of course, they understood the purity, the simplicity of the coming of the Messiah. And Euripides Barsanulfo was there. So, think about this. If we're now awakening ourselves to understanding the depth of this message of the Christ, Euripides Barsanulfo has been there all along. So when he comes now to us and tells us that the Sublime Friend may strengthen us in our redeeming road, he's reminding us that on the earth, there's no other way to get to our true regeneration, our true renewal, without embracing the Christ consciousness. We're not talking about labels. I am Christian, I'm cross-conscious. No. We're talking about living the talk, walking the talk, and not necessarily labeling ourselves spiritists, Christians, Christ-conscious, spiritual. Is going to do the deal. It's about the coherence, customizing our lives to this message. Imagine the day everybody customizes their lives to the message, like many we know of have done. The world is changed, right? Teresa Castro is asking, he was there in spirit or he was incarnated? He was incarnated, Teresa. Thank you for asking. And he was really ahead. It's said that he later learned with a disciple of John the Evangelist, and later Euripides Barsanulfo as Marco learned directly with John the Evangelist. So just so we know the extent of his full understanding of the message. In other lives, Euripides Barsanulfo went through experiences that were very deep, like Kardec. And we can talk about it another day. And in the July issue of the Spiritist magazine, we're going to dedicate an article so you understand more about the lives that Professor Euripides Barsanulfo had. It's important just so we grasp how much the virtues that he displayed were conquests of many, many lives. Okay? Yeah, what I'm mentioning now is from the book A Grande Espera. Exactly, Nora. Thank you for asking. So, back to his message today, he's talking to us about physical health first. He says that every sick person can find the flow of the vitality that they need, given by the flow, this manna by the divine mercy. It's at our reach, and it's enough to boost ourselves up. How so, right? Kardec, in the book Genesis, talks about the universal elementary matter, and talks about how our thoughts and feelings work on this universal cosmic fluid and create the vitality that we need. So, putting mind over matter can help us. It doesn't mean we won't get sick. It doesn't mean, it means that we're going to recover deeply by changing our vibratory pattern. And thus, as Kardec says, we're going to attract new healthy molecules that will substitute the unhealthy ones. Right? And this is a tip from André Luiz. Right, Raquel? From André Luiz, in the book Evolution in Two Worlds, chapter 2. During the night when we are going to sleep, if we have merit and credit and needs, the higher spirits may come and do true spiritual surgeries on our perispirit. And then you may be asked, Vanessa, what do I do to assign myself for a spiritual surgery? What do? Do the good and pray. Pray that the good spirits may come to your rescue during the night. Don't tell yourself, oh, but I don't deserve, because you don't want to be more than God. Only God knows. He has the book, right? The math of our lives. We don't know. If He thinks we deserve, we just need to be open. So be open always. Merit and prayer, Sunshine is summarizing here. And merit comes from God. Prayer, it's us opening the door. And Jesus said, seek and you will find. Knock and the door is going to be open. Ask and it shall be given. It's the law of the universe. It's up to you, to me, to our minds. What do you want? Health? So go for it. I am healthy. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad. Every little cell in my body is healthy and well. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad. Every little cell in my body is healthy and well. If I project health, it's on us to coach ourselves. Feel that you're being coached to it. And that's what Professor Euripides Barsanulfo is saying. It's up to us to use this flow of health, the abundance of health that God is showering us with. Breathe in and out, breathe in health. Breathe in health and breathe out what doesn't serve any longer. And God's going to recycle it. Breathe in and out. Health, abundance of health. Oh God, I am healthy. I am healthy. I am healthy. And the cells of my very spirit, the cells of my physical body are healthy. That's the first part of the message. The second part, and from there on he repeats throughout. It's about the law of love and justice. Justice, love and charity. It's funny because some people read that law in the Spirit's book, which is in the third part of the Spirit's book. Law of justice, love and charity. And at first we're puzzled, like justice and love together. doesn't look like they really belong together. Because people feel that justice is cold, blind. No, not the divine justice. That's the human justice. But the divine justice has three aspects. It doesn't go alone without love and charity. And that's what Euripides Barsanulfo is going to say. That Jesus, as the celestial friend, gave us the example practicing the law of justice through the cultivation of love. Now he is unfolding the solution of the mystery. Be just through love. Jesus is inviting us to be just through the cultivation of love. How so? Let's go to question 875 of the Spirit's book by Kardec. What is the definition of justice? Answer: to respect everyone's rights. Of course, people have the right to do whatever they like. But the question for all of us here is, and the continuation of the question of Kardec and the answer of the Spirit says, that respect comes with a boundary. What was it? The boundary in which our decisions are not harming the general good. And then the human and the divine laws needed to intervene. Do to others what you would like to receive. That's exactly how Euripides Barsanulfo ends this message today. He says, don't do to others what you wouldn't like to receive. And that's when we swallow our inferiority. We recycle it. Because when I'm going, for example, to make a decision in my family, I think, would I like to be talked to in this way? Oh, but that person is wrong. But would I like? Their wrong doesn't justify my wrong. Does that hurt? Don't do it. It's what the Dalai Lama calls ethical discipline. What we need in the 21st century. He concluded that we need more than ever ethical discipline to avoid hurting people. Is it hard? Of course, because often we hurt and we don't know. But once we know, once people have told us, please don't go there, don't go there. We need to respect in our families, in the streets, everywhere we go, everywhere we are, we need to display it. And Euripides Barsanulfo says to us, the Master remains awaiting our goodwill in the service of fraternal solidarity. Goodwill, chapter 3 of the book Thought and Life. Chapter 1 is the mirror of life, which is our mind. Right? Chapter 2 is will. The mind dictates everything, but the will is giving direction. Effort is indispensable. No wonder Casimiro Cunha in the book Drops of Light repeats in almost every poem of that book of the need of ridding ourselves of laziness. We can always do more. You're tired, not because you're working too much, but because of the way you're working. Often people say, but I'm so tired, I need a vacation. No. You need to learn to do things in a different way. With more positivity, with greater disposition, with love in your heart. Because the way we're doing is consuming, because it's negative, is pessimistic and selfish. Then we drain ourselves because we're connected to minds that are negative. In order to change the scenario, you don't need a vacation. You need to change, and I need to change the way I do things. And then you won't get tired even in a vacation, because I know people, funny enough, that they say, I went to the beach, and I was on vacation. I got back and I'm more tired than before. Of course, if you kept looping the negative thoughts, wherever you are, the physical body is just your pet. It's like a dog. If you can extenuate this dog running without rest, the dog's going to be tired. Your body is going to be rested according to the mind. And what we need to give, Professor Euripides Barsanulfo said in a previous message, to the body we need oxygen. And oxygen comes with good food, wise rest, which is not simply sleeping. As in the Spirit's book says, we need to put mind over matter. When you go to sleep or take a nap, you tell your body like you're telling a baby or a dog. Breathe in and out, rest, stay calm. Tell the body, now I'm gonna leave you here on this bed or on this chair, and I'm going to keep on working on myself. Take advantage of the beautiful thoughts by the good spirits, because they are going to be taking care of us. And say a prayer. Wise rest, good food, healthy food, and good conversations, positive attitude in life. Then we are going to give our physical bodies enough energy to do much more than we have been doing. Right, Andrea Torres? So he says, we need to change the way we interact with people. When we are too egocentric, we cannot see the good in people. And if we see, we always find a way to minimize it, to undermine it, so we can feel better. No. That's not fraternity, that's not solidarity. Euripides Barsanulfo tonight is calling us. Let us seek the beauties of the good in all and in everyone. Therapeutic question. How often do you seek? Seek is not like just look. You have to find it. Make an effort to find the good. How often do you do it? When you look at people, everyone, like Jesus walking with the disciples, and he saw a dead dog, a dog that was dead, and all the disciples were like disgusted. They're like, ugh, ew, because of the smell. And Jesus, again, the Master, turned and left us an immortal message. Oh, this dog must have had beautiful teeth. That is seeking the good. Beautiful teeth in the dead, putrefying dog. So you look at somebody, anybody, whether in whatever condition, seek the good. Make an effort and find the good. That's our homework for the next 24 hours. Find the good in all and in everyone. And don't, usually when we find the good in others, we childishly compare to ourselves. Just leave the person alone. Children are like this. They see somebody looking good, they immediately think about themselves. That's egocentrism. But when we become adults, we're being called to be selfless. And if you found the good in somebody, let it be, please, huh? Don't think, oh, but that person is so good, and yet, look at me. Don't compare, please, huh? Don't compare. Leave it alone. Let the person shine. Shine yourself too. But you don't need to minimize their light to shine your light. Let everybody shine. Jesus is the model for us. He never undermined the potential of anyone, and he still counts on us in spite of our imperfections. So how can we do otherwise? Euripides Barsanulfo is saying, let us not forget the duties of fraternity amongst individuals. As the family of the Spirit is greatly enlarged, remember that your neighbor is humanity. It is necessary to expand the scope of spiritual relationships every day. Make new friends. And not on Facebook. Everywhere. Make new friends, and he says, through the ever-increasing interest in the welfare of all. When people ask you, why are you going to the March for Us? Because I care. I am supporting the youth. Why do you go to the Spiritist Center and share these teachings? Because I care. These teachings are good for me. I cannot be selfish and keep it to myself. So we open a place and share it. And we don't force anybody. People come voluntarily through the door. If they come in, we share. If they don't, we don't say anything. But then we have Facebook. Then we have the radio. Then we have the magazine. We share in all and every possible ways and means. Why? Because it's good for me, it's good for you, and it may be potentially good for others if they are awake or they want to wake. Gotta care, gotta share, that's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's a music I learned from the cartoon My Little Pony. Thanks to Virginia. Gotta share, gotta care, that's the right thing to do. Yeah, so that's the right thing to do. We share. These teachings are not mine, they are not yours. That's why I cannot sell them. I cannot sell them because they are not mine. Okay? So when you see people selling these teachings in their name, it's wrong. But that's a problem between them and God. We don't do it, but we share. He says we need to expand the scope of our spiritual relationships every day through the ever-increasing interest in the welfare of all. Those who do not care about other homes, they didn't understand about the true meaning of love. But for us Spiritists, there is no escape, he's saying. Much will be demanded to those who have been given much. We did. It's our turn. Let's care, friends. That's the message of Professor Euripides Barsanulfo today. He's asking us to open our hearts and allow the love of God to flow through us. You don't need to make an effort to love, because love is literally in the air. Love is in the air everywhere. Look around, literally, because God emanates constantly the flow of love, says Euripides Barsanulfo. It's on us to de-obstruct, to open wide and allow it to flow. So close your eyes for a second. Let us visualize ourselves. Let us visualize ourselves as a vessel of this loving flow of God. Breathe in and out and visualize and tell yourself, I am a vessel of God's love. Breathe in, breathe out. I am a vessel of God's love. Breathe in, breathe out. I am a loving vessel of God's love. Open your eyes, feel the love, share the love, and in the next 24 hours, let us do anything possible to expand the scope of our spiritual relationships. Shall we? Shall we? That's the goal in the next 24 hours with Euripides Barsanulfo. We hope to meet you again. We have 2 more days with Euripides Barsanulfo, his messages giving us the calibration for greater harmony, moment of harmony with Euripides Barsanulfo. Thank you, friends.